Day 12, the culmination of our 12 days of vegan Christmas recipes, and we're going out with a scrumptious main dish. A savory beet and mushroom Wellington wrapped in a flaky golden pastry, and it happens to be surprisingly simple to make. Heat a skillet over medium heat and saute 1 diced shallot or small onion and 4 cloves of minced garlic in half a tablespoon olive oil or broth. Season with salt and pepper. Add 190 grams or 2½ cups chopped mushrooms. I'm using 2 large portobello mushrooms. Allow these to cook and release their moisture for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, peel and shred 1 large and raw red beet. Use a couple if your beets are a little smaller. And if you have a food processor with a shredding attachment, it makes this step really quick and easy. Add the shredded beet, 1 cup packed spinach, 2½ tablespoons tamari or soy sauce, half a tablespoon Worcestershire sauce, or sub with more tamari, 1 teaspoon dried thyme, 1 teaspoon dried oregano, or use 1 tablespoon of each if you're using fresh herbs, and 1 teaspoon smoked paprika. Cook until the spinach is wilted, remove the mixture from the heat, and stir in 1 cup almond flour. With that, your filling is done, and a great thing about this recipe is that it's ideal if the filling is cool when you put it on your pastry, so make it ahead and keep it in your fridge. For today, I'm just going to let it cool down while I roll out my pastry. Roll out 1 sheet of frozen puff pastry, but make sure you have allowed it to thaw before getting started. On a lightly floured surface, roll the pastry out to about 12 by 12 inches. You want to have about 4 inches of pastry on either side of your filling so you can wrap it up. Get a small bowl of warm water ready and pat your filling into a log shape. Transfer the log of filling onto your pastry and dampen the edges of the pastry with the warm water. Fold the pastry over the filling and seal it in like you're sealing a letter. For the sides, cut a little bit out of the top fold. This way there isn't too much pastry on the ends when you slice into your Wellington. With the Wellington all wrapped up, flip it over so the seam is on the bottom. As if this recipe couldn't get easier, you can freeze the Wellington at this point. I like to pop it in my freezer on a baking tray for a couple of hours and then transfer it to a freezer bag once it's frozen. It will take a little longer to bake from frozen, but it's a super convenient option. Okay, so I rolled that out a little bigger than 12 by 12 and it was a little thin on top, so hopefully it works. There's always something with cooking, right? When you're ready to bake your Wellington, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and make X's or angled slits in the top of your pastry for steam to escape. Brush the Wellington all over with 1 tablespoon melted vegan butter and bake on a lined baking sheet for 30 to 35 minutes. Remember that chocolate bark that I made with the leftover chocolate in yesterday's peppermint patties video? Turned out okay. Not bad. I maybe like it looking like this, a bit better than this, but hey, use your leftover chocolate. Waste not, want not. You can brush the Wellington with a bit more melted butter when it's almost done, and you will know it's done when the pastry is nicely golden and you can see the filling bubbling through the slits you made in the top. Let your Wellington sit for about 5 minutes to cool down a bit and then slice into it. We love serving this Wellington with our fixings from day 8 of our 12 days of vegan Christmas recipes. Some mashed potatoes and gravy, cranberry sauce, and roasted vegetables would be lovely. You'll get 4 nice slices out of this Wellington plus the end pieces. So I like to say that this recipe serves 4 and costs us $10 to make. If we were to make a more traditional beef Wellington with just 1½ pounds of beef, the beef from our wholesale store would likely cost us $10, and from our local grocery store it would cost us upwards of $20. And just like that, we have come to the end of our 12 days of vegan Christmas recipes and our last video for our first calendar year as Tasty, Thrifty, Timely. This recipe is linked below for you to enjoy, and we will be back with our regular scheduled programming of a new video every Sunday at 5 starting January 9th, 2022. So leave a comment below, let us know what you want to see for next year, and thank you so much for following along. We have had so much fun getting to know you, being inspired by you, and making delicious food with you. Thank you to our families for being our first line of taste testers. years. And Brian and I wish you and your families the happiest of holiday seasons. So what do you think, Brian? It's November 27th for us, and we're cooked. We'll see you next year.